There we go.
Right.
I'm all set on my end here now.
Yeah, yo, we live. We back up in that thing. Me and my boy.
Always.
Yo, another episode, Ultra Fly Talk.
Saturday.
On a nice Saturday.
Yeah, it's lovely here. Holy hell.
Dang, bro. We out here got sunshine and shit. It's still cold as we're not. It's like +2, +3 out this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like it's not where it's like crazy warm, obviously, but for Canada, it's warm as fuck.
So here's the context. Here it's -5 here. Yesterday it was -15.
There you go. There you go.
Here we are.
Every degree counts, my G. Every degree counts. But yo, Trent, on our last episode when we started off, I was talking to you about how Jack Frost said "fuck you" and shitting on the city. And even though during that last time, like it was smooth sailing, I got to work safe, everything was everything. But 2 days ago, bro, this last week, Jack Frost truly, Mr. Freeze, all that shit, bro. Santa Claus, he came back with a vengeance for all the bad kids and shit. There was so much snow in Toronto, bro. I was like, so much snow in the sense of, not so much snow where in the sense of deepness, but so much snow in the sense of consistency, like constant. It was just constantly coming, where it was like almost like a whiteout. Like driving, like you can't really, but not, there wasn't that much of a fucking pile up on the bottom of it. Like on a day like today, 2 days later, it snowed 2 days straight, bro. But anyway, so I'm driving to work, Trent. This shit is real. I'm on the DVP, which is like a little highway within Toronto that like bridges off into the Gardner or 401 on the other end. But I'm going around a bend, Trent, going like maybe 20 or 30 kilometers, which for miles, that's like 10. For you American watchers, it's like not even 10. Bro, I'm sliding. I'm hitting the side of the road and shit. It's like a point where I can't even do anything. I have to just hold the wheel and let my shit mash. Like it's like mashing on the side, sliding out a bit towards traffic again, then mashing back into the side. And it happened like maybe 10 minutes into my drive. Let's just say it takes me 20 minutes to get to work. Halfway through the mission, bam, 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 I'm sliding and hitting on. I'm like, oh my goodness. Then when my shit stops sliding and smashing into the side of the road, I'm not hitting my side of my car. It's a low platform where I'm hitting the sides of my wheels, bro. So I'm thinking, oh man, I got a pop tire on both sides. I mean, on both, like the front and the back. I'm driving and shit feels normal. So I'm like, okay, we might still be in the game. Driving, get to work. My car is still fine and shit. But like, it was so fucked up because while it's all happening, while like I'm smashing into the shit, like my heart's racing a bit because I'm going slow as fuck, but I have no control over the situation. And there's a small platform, a guardrail, and then like just trees and wilderness and shit. So I'm thinking to myself, if I'm going fast enough to be hitting with this type of fucking strength, Trent, I can fuck around and roll my shit, not smash and fly over, but roll it to like a point where I might roll my shit over. I'm like, this is nonsense. So I basically was thinking to myself as I was debating with you last time.
Yeah.
If I was going to get rid of my car or whatever the case is, I'm definitely going to get rid of this bitch and get a car that has which would have been more helpful, Trent, is if I had all-wheel drive and shit like that. I only had front wheel on this car that I'm in right now. So like the rear wheels that could have propelled me back to a straight path, that shit said, nope, we slide. we
Not today.
Bro, I was fucking hurt. So yeah, man, I get to work. Then I had like one of the worst motherfucking experiences at work and shit. So I was just like, you know what? Not that today's a bad day, because that day was still a good day. I made it safely and shit, and that's what I kept saying to myself. Like, yo, bro, we made it here safe. We good. Other cars were sliding with me. That's why, like it was me sliding, but other cars were fucking around sliding, flying past me. Other cars were sliding too. Like it was just a mixture of people who had different. I was just like, you know what? Fuck these motherfuckers. When it's a fresh snowfall and it's like a whiteout, you can't really see. Fuck these people, bro.
Did you see that video? I don't know how many years ago it was. It was a couple years ago. I think it was on the street in Montreal, but like it was like a bit of a downhill incline. It was completely ice. So it's literally just people trying to stop, but as soon as they hit their brakes, they're just sliding. And then the next people behind them, same. It's so like And videos like that are on the highway, sort of things like that, where they can't see ahead of them. And then all of a sudden there's just a pile up in front. That shit gives me so much anxiety just watching that. I can't even imagine being in that situation. Like, that's so fucked.
Trent, these are the times where I'm just thinking to myself, because don't get me wrong, a little piece of me, and I hate it because it's like, it was definitely my intuition. And even like, as I was talking to my sister before I stepped out or whatever, it was one of those ones where it's like, I was like debating. I'm like, man, maybe I should take the subway today, man. Fuck driving in this nonsense. But then another piece of me is like, you know what, fuck it, bro. Like, the way I'm looking at it is like, I'm gonna just take my time. It's gonna be cool. I'm not necessarily gonna be slipping and sliding and acting a fool and shit like that. Next thing you know, I fuck around and I'm slipping and sliding and gliding and shit. I'm just like, this is nonsense. And I knew it was gonna be fucked up because just on the roads to get towards the highway. So that means we're going 40 and under. Everybody is. I'm slipping and sliding, and my shit's hydroplaning, even though it's not water. Well, technically it's water, it's fucking snow, but shit's just hydroplaning while I'm trying to propel myself forward. I'm thinking, yeah, this might not have been the smartest decision. But because I was already on route, I was like, I'm not going to spin out and fuck around and trying to do a U-turn. Let me just take my time, continue. Because I know when I get to work, the parking lot I'm in is under, like, it's like under a platform. Man's like, so there'll be no snow in there. So hopefully over the time of the day, the snow will calm down and it'll be at least visible when I'm driving home. No, yo, this shit did not. That shit kept snowing and kept snowing and kept snowing. I was like, fuck this shit, bro. Fuck snow. Fuck all that.
Sorry, just 1 second. What the fuck was that?
All good, man.
I think some just snow fell off the side of my building. That just scared the shit out of me.
I was gonna say, bro, and that was just a little fucking reminder of the snow saying "fuck you." Even though it's a nicer day, the snow saying "fuck you." I'm still here.
Yeah. Like I haven't been leaving the house much, so fuck it. That's a lie. That's actually a complete lie. Ever since the pub opened on Wednesday, whoo!
Oh shit, you've been getting lit. You've been out here drinking with your mask on, like you're pouring the drink through your mask.
No, when you're at the table, you don't have to wear one. When you get up and start walking around, that's when you have to wear one, sort of thing.
That's intense when you think about it, man.
It really is.
Because think about it. Let's just say you and let's just say 4 or 5 other groups are in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their mask off, sitting down, breathing and shit. And then when you get up, you put your mask on and you walk to the bathroom or whatever. And you're thinking to yourself, we was all just breathing in the same air. Why didn't I just get up and walk to the washroom without this damn mask on? Yo, this shit is crazy.
It's wild. Like, it's regulations, right? You can only have like 6 people at a table and stuff like that too. But like, hey, I'm okay with it. I'm just happy to be back out and like doing things again, even, you know, what it is. Strip clubs open and everything too. Like, yeah, like nothing.
Yeah, see, that's fucked. These guys said the strip club. Fuck the nonsense. My man said the strip club. Trent, that is a recipe for disaster, bro. That is literally a recipe for disaster. Yep. Like, fuck the nonsense. Have a shorty come to your crib. You talking about going to a place, even with the pubs, like, for example, I'll be working at a hospital and shit. We at lunch, like at certain tables, we can only have one person at a table.
Mm-hmm.
And motherfuckers is talking about, yeah, let's collectivize and have 6, 7, 8 people at this table, 6, 7, 8 people at this table, 4 people at this table. It's like, all right, bro, you guys don't give a shit. Did you have to give all your information and shit when you went in?
Yeah, you got to sign in everywhere you go. You got to put your name and your phone number, sort of thing. So I guess if there's no break, hey, you fucking stay home, sort of thing, or whatever. I don't know how that works, but whatever.
They probably call you and tell you to go get tested, but that's kind of wild when you think about it, bro.
It really is. Like, there's not a lot of logic to it, but like, whatever.
That's the thing. I was talking to a homie at work, one of the older porters and shit. This guy was talking to me about how like there's no regulations as far as like they're saying like they're putting regulations in place, so to speak, but there's no like common clear cut for everybody to be following as far as them saying, okay, like we're gonna have a 2-part vaccine, and then after people take the first part and then they hit you with we have a shortage of the second part, and then you're sitting there saying to yourself, what the heck, wait a minute, why did I take the first part then if there was no like second part to my first part? Shit like that. I'm just saying, it's unclear. It's
back in high school, did you get vaccinated for Hep B as well too?
As fucked up as it is, bro, I think I got vaccinated for that bitch in 7th grade.
Yeah. That's what I meant. There was one. I remember there was one. They did 2 at the same time, but they did it on each arms.
Yeah.
So why the fuck did they do that? if they need a 2-part, 1-2 at the same time. I don't know how things work though. So there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't want to fuck around and kill you, even though this is all fucking experimental anyway. They don't want to fuck around and kill you just right on the spot. But then you hear people getting
Fair enough.
but then you hear people getting the vaccine, and it's like as if they fucking perished not too long after. Not everybody, but some people. And it's like, well, fuck, man, the vaccine, in my opinion, just like the flu shot, the same shit as far as a variant of it, or they can't say it's an older version of it because this shit is still quote unquote new. So you guys must be taking the same exact strain and putting it back in motherfuckers and basically, all right, yo, fight. Basically saying round one fight. Hayukin. All you hear is all types of Hayukins and fucking nonsense like that within your body, bro.
Finish him.
Yeah, that's basically, yeah, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all that shit, bro.
Man, I grew up on that shit. That's hilarious. Did you see they put a trailer out for because they're making a new one. There's a new Mortal Kombat movie coming out. I have not seen the trailer for it, but all my friends have lost their mind.
That's what I was gonna say, bro. As fucked up as it is, I haven't seen the trailer either. But like as I was scrolling through YouTube and different like shit like that, different apps, I'll see Instagram and shit. I'll see like little trailers for it and shit, or little like thumbnails for it or whatever. I just have trailer. Either way, man, that shit might be lit, bro. Like that shit might be.
It's gonna be better than the one in '95. The one in '95 is pretty fucking ridiculous. But honestly, I watched it again like last year, I think, something like that. And just that start, like they pull up like it's New Line, I think, made it right. So you have the New Line thing coming up, and they hear Mortal Kombat, and then the fucking theme song kicks. Yo, that got me so fired up. It wasn't even funny. It was just like, all right, let's fucking go with this movie, see what happens. And it was like, okay, they could have done a lot better with it, but they could have done a lot worse with it too. Video game movies are mostly a miss from like history anyways, which sucks because like it doesn't make sense why it would be like that. Because there's like, you look at video games, like just look at any of the GTA games. Yeah. Look at those, like just the inner scenes and all that, dude. That's like a movie right there in and of itself. Like, why can't you just recreate
like all the cutscenes? Yeah, and that's the thing that's so crazy about it because the CGI though, right? Like as far as like video game animations versus the shit they put in movies and that they want to try to make look as realistic as possible. They kind of have that fight where it's like, how do we make this shit not look extremely just fake as fuck? Whereas like for example Avengers or whatever, like when they're putting like Thanos and them motherfuckers in to be fighting the Avengers and shit, it's different because it's like you have to have the actor who playing Thanos wearing a big ass head thing to project to be about 8 feet tall, like how Thanos would be in real life, the fucking villain for if you don't know, the villain in the Marvel cinematic universe. But anyway, yo, man, it's crazy because it's like that versus having somebody in an actual video game. Like you can just allow it to be the most false. You allow like Mortal Kombat, for example, motherfucker, the Scorpion doing the come over here, the spike coming out his hand and going right through the person's body and extending and bringing the person back to him and shit. That shit can be so out of this world as far as the fakeness, the fiction of it, because it's like, you know, this is a video game, but when they do it in real life movies, how are you going to projectile something through somebody's chest, make them get dragged towards the guy who did it, and it not look fake? Unless you're actually like using two human actors and the only CGI is like they have all types of wires and whatnot suspended to the guy so he can fly forward really fast, but they just add the cable snake, scorpion, whatever thing coming out his hand at the end. Like that's all.
That's practical effects versus CGI right there is what you just described.
But on the flip side, I'm saying like using CGI, like you know that there's going to be some type of fakeness appearance wise. Like, oh, we know that the little rocket, the little raccoon in Avenger and shit, we know that motherfucker's CGI, but we can make him look as real as possible, have his fur move in the wind when it's a windy scene, shit like that, where it's like he's standing next to a human and you're thinking to yourself, oh shit, their clothes are blowing in the wind or whatever. It just adds to the reality of it. But it's like that battle, I'm saying they have that battle of trying to make it look realistic to a degree, knowing that it's going to be CGI. That's why the movies sometimes fail, in my opinion, when they do video game adaptations or cartoon comic book adaptations. Shit's
honestly, like video game technology, when it comes to just like the graphics and all that shit nowadays, it needs to be like the standard for like any film like stuff. Like if you see the new Red Dead Redemption and all the shit they could do in that, like just the
It
like
looks real. Some of it looks so real.
insane detail they put into that,
Yes,
like when it
yes.
comes down to the little
The
things.
sweat coming down his brow when he's got his pistol out and shit like that. It's like, all right,
Exactly.
stupid. How do
Like
you guys have this type of detail?
like that should be the standard for like what it should be for like CGI, animation, all that straight across the board in film. Like as far as I'm concerned, like
No,
yeah,
100%.
like a whole like a series, but like just like shot like with a video games type of like aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like a whole like Netflix series of something like that. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, because like to have it in a video game type graphic. You obviously it'd be some type of quote unquote animation, right? But it's like to have such detail where you almost confuse the two between a reality, like where it's like it seems like it's real actors with almost like a comic book slash animated filter over the scene. But it's
Exactly.
like real actors walking with the motion sensors or whatever. It's like there's no way that they can mimic these moves. These two animated characters on the screen right now. There's no way that they can mimic the move that those types of moves. Those have to be two humans doing that. That's the type of like reality blend that if you get to that point, yeah, 100% motherfuckers will be like, what the hell? This shit is crazy. How detailed it is. Some
Love
of
to
these
see it.
some of them superhero games and shit, different Avengers video games and shit. Yeah, man, some of the detail, and you think to yourself like, but then obviously that's why those movies went hard body. Like even like the Avengers, but beyond like a few movies before when they came out with Black Panther, and like everybody was like, oh shit. Reason why I'm using that is because like the way how his suit was on some Iron Man shit before Iron Man shit. When I say before Iron Man shit, I mean in the sense of like the legend of Wakanda being ancients of years old or whatever. So there was multiple Black Panthers before this one that we see, aka T'Challa or whatever. So to see how he has the vibranium and all that shit from when they're the continent or of Wakanda, or however you want to call it, city or country of Wakanda, nation of Wakanda, how the origins of the stories were like it was built on a meteor of vibranium, or a meteor of vibranium struck that was inwoven into all the soils of the earth, this, that, and the third, and all types of amazing things happen. I'm just saying the technology of the suit, the way how the suit would go around his body, and then Iron Man in like the most recent of times develops the nanotech where it's like he can press a little thing in his chest and it just starts to expand from his chest around his whole body. And it's like just even thinking now to like those types of things, bro, like I don't know, man. Like the attention to detail, like how people create things, how these things are morphed. It makes you like, as far as us two being creatives, it makes you think what else can be created from that, what else can be interwoven into society from that, but from our brains, knowing that these things already existed, taking it and going somewhere further with it. That's why when you showed me that song earlier, the Highwaymen and shit, and I was saying, bro, we got to trip out, and I want to make like a film where we tripping and shit, bro.
I'm
Like
down. I'm so down.
Trent, you have more like, because I remember in university reading that motherfucking poem, The Highwayman, about how my man had his pistol and his rapier by his side, the fucking that short sword slash blade. It's like,
Yep.
yo, I'm ready to, how he held up all types of stage. Like, bro, if you have any details on the Highwaymen, or how they function, please elaborate. Because like, let them know why that would be such a dope ass idea as a movie.
The band and
No,
song, or the original like Highwaymen, like back in
the
the
ones
day
who,
sort of thing.
yeah, like the ones back in the day who used to like rob stagecoaches and shit.
So it kind of got like they were like the Jesse James back in the day. That's the only way I can put like any like equation to it. And that's what you're saying. That's the first version, the first verse, pardon me, of that song was Willie Nelson talking about being an actual like one of them highwaymen. So they would just wait along like where the stagecoaches and other things would go by, and they would hold it up and rob people of their riches and whatnot. And that's basically it. I don't know too much about like stuff like that, but God, just some names that come to mind, like Dick Turpin. He was a famous one I don't really know much about, but like it was just a culture of that too. You read Henry IV, didn't you? And University with
bro.
Falstaff.
I was gonna say, bro, I actually didn't read Henry IV, but the reason why, but regardless, even you trust me, I want you to elaborate on that in a second. But the reason why I was even saying like to bring up the Highwaymen, like for people who don't know, like just the idea of like rogue, we can even bring it back a little further than the Jesse James is like to like where like motherfuckers is wearing like the puffy white shirts with the red long trench coat with the single multiple he has multiple shots in his like on his person, but it's the single shot musket or
Lock.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like with the rapier, like which is like a small kind of half size sword
It's more
slash.
of like a fencing sword.
Yeah, but it's like, but it's the ability to fuck like because it has like it always had like gem encrusted handles on them.
Yeah, they're
Shit like
beautiful.
that, bro. That type of shit fascinates me because it's like he was like a cowboy before a cowboy. You know what I mean? Or in context, but
Outlaws.
yeah, like more or less like an outlaw. Like, but the romantic, I'm kind of romanticizing it, but I'm saying like even to romanticize it and make it work because in the poem that I read in university, it was more or less just like that he like him and the Baron's daughter hadn't like they were seeing each other, but the Baron didn't like it. So he was also robbing the
Oh,
Baron's different
okay.
coaches that the Baron would be sending out with his friends in it or whatever after they leave his house or whatever. He'd rob them and steal their riches or whatever. And it's like, so you're dating my daughter and you're robbing from me type of shit or stealing from the people I know or whatever. But it's like just that idea, bro, of going into like just being, but then thinking about it in like they kind of do it in a everyday, like in today's society, like when they do movies, when it's almost like the Bonnie and Clyde type shit. They
Mhm.
like, but the woman's obviously in on it. But with the Highwaymen, like Buddy would just be on his horse going after he just robbed the stagecoach, and there's mad sheriffs and shit behind him riding on their horses trying to catch this motherfucker. And if ever they did catch him, they'd be hanging him and shit like that, where it's like that's why it's like almost on some Legend of Zorro type shit. You know what I
Robin
mean?
Hood.
Yeah, just Robin Hood, just on some. But obviously, Highwaymen didn't necessarily give to the needy after they stole from the rich. But you
No.
could romanticize it. I'm just saying you could romanticize it if you wanted to, right? As far as I'm just saying, shit like that's dope. But please, if you had your breakdown of Henry the Fourth or that you were trying to.
Oh, right. So like we were talking about just how like the idea of like robbing people and stuff like that. There's a scene of that in Henry the Fourth where he sets up Falstaff to go rob somebody and then they rob Falstaff afterwards. That was all I was gonna make with that. But it's just interesting to like it's just interesting how these people like and their deeds get romanticized through the years because of the creative types and stuff like that. Like Jesse James got that Robin Hood type persona, even though he really wasn't like anything to do like that. He just robbed for his own riches, sort of thing. But then there's people like Pretty Boy Floyd, who during like the Depression and like those gangsters, like during that era, like fuck, Babyface Nelson and I cannot remember his name right now. Oh my god, that's gonna piss me off. John Dillinger and stuff like that. But Pretty Boy Floyd would rob them, but he would not only rob the banks, he would also burn up mortgages and debts, like the papers and stuff like that. So it would wipe out just people's debts he didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Don't know how
Wow,
much truth there is to
that's a
that, but
that's a
still.
granted there was some truth to that. That's a dope motherfucker right there, bro. How you gonna be like? That's almost like he's the original buddy who hacked into the student loans thing in recent years and deleted some of that. He's the original OG, bro. Like I'm just saying that's dope as fuck
Mm-hmm.
when those types of situations. Granted, there's truth to it. There's when those types of situations happen, bro. I'm just saying, like again, for the people watching, you might be thinking like, why are they talking about the Highwayman and this that, bro? It's because motherfuckers go like. There's a lot of people in context doing this type of shit. Obviously they're not known or recognized because they're trying to be in the shadows as far as different hackers and shit, anonymous and shit like that. But I'm saying that type of idea just fucking it like entices me. It makes me think like in the sense of granted you could get away with like you could rob the city blind or rob the treasury blind. Like, but I'm thinking back in those days, how you said like Buddy would wait in the shadows for a stagecoach to drive by and then and ride out on his horse and start tripping out and start firing on the fucking whatever. However, him and his crew would take it down. That type of shit's dope because it's like not saying the act of violence, but I'm saying granted if it was for like he only robbed stagecoaches of dudes who did some savage, heinous shit or whatever. You know, like just I'm just saying, like if you wanted to make a movie as an idea, like he was more of a hero, even though he was a highwayman. He was trying to feed his family, and there was just one little sick kid in the village he was trying to feed or whatever. I'm just saying, throwing out some random ass little plot ideas, but I'm just saying, bro, like that type of shit would be dope in today's day and age, only because like you see it. How I could kind of equate it, fucked up as it is if you've ever seen Django.
Yes.
With Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah.
For example, finesses / escapes his way out the plantation, and then starts whooping ass and goes back as a quote unquote freed man, like at least that's the role he's playing. And then he eventually gets his wife and shoots that whole shit up and just trips. Bro,
oh yeah.
That's a highwayman if I've seen one. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Shooting up the fucking like the stagecoaches or whatever that had like all the slaves in it, but a white dude was driving, running up on him and firing it off on him and freeing motherfuckers and shit. Like I don't know. I'm just saying from that standpoint too. Like there's also that other twist on it where like the Nat Turners of the world. I'm saying Django as a fictional, but even like the real Nat Turners of the world, bro. That's a lit situation as far as
rebels. It's what it is. It's just straight rebellion.
Rebel. Yeah, there's the underdog rebel. Yeah, the underdog rebel who fucks around and gets to the top. If you can explain to the people what that means, bro.
So that's from Henry IV. Actually, it's weird in context because it's actually the villain, so to speak, in Henry IV part 1. But it's one of his things he says to his troops before the battle, and if we live to tread on kings. But the second part of it is, if we die, brave death when princes die with us. So if they go out there and they win, they take down the king. If they lose, well, they're going to at least take out the next generation or whatever, so they'll fall down the line sort of thing. I don't know. I was just like that idea of just like that kind of rebellion, just like, hey, we're going to go out and if we win, it's ultimate victory. If not, we're still going to take out something on their end so they know like, so somewhere down the line, they're completely fucked over somehow by it. But yeah, that's why I got that one there.
Oh, it's dope, man. It's like, it's something to think about. But even like looking at it from a standpoint, yeah, like if we win, like we go on to tell the stories, we go on to hold up the golds and the riches and move forward. It's like, but if we die, it's almost on some Ivan Drago shit where it's like, if we die, we die. But somebody coming with me type shit.
Pretty much.
Just put it in some hoods, put it into some hood terms. But yo, I don't know, man. I'm just, as we're getting more creative, as we're getting older and shit, bro, like these are the types of things that I genuinely like. The ideas of building something from sometimes things of past, but even creating something new. You know what I mean? It might not be the highwayman I'm thinking of, may not be in the form of like, if everyone were to make a movie about it, it might not be in the form of a traditional dude riding a horse, whatever, but it might be in the futuristic type buddies wearing a fucking, like on some Tron. You saw that movie Tron, where they're riding those light cycles and shit.
Damn.
Buddy might be on something like that.
Some cyberpunk shit.
You know what I mean? Just fucking racing through the future, just overtaking whatever he has to overtake, just to fucking the corruption that's within the I don't know, the system or whatever you want to call it. You can't call it the Matrix.
Netflix, hit us up. Fuck, we got ideas.
Bro, that's the real, eh? Let them know, Trent. hit your boys up. Hit your boys up, bro.
Man.
But yeah, it's just something to think about.
Oh, definitely. That song really, just the idea of just like how it just like there's like the spirit or so just keeps living and through different generations. And the original song, like it's all about like, it starts out with highwaymen, but then it talks like dam builders and like workers and stuff like that. And at the end, it's a space pilot of all things. It's just like, it's just interesting. And then the highwayman, obviously, that retake on it and everything else from there. But like, it's just that spirit of like living throughout the years, and just that spirit that's not going to be taken despite like your physical form being taken. It's going to keep going throughout the years, and somebody else is going to take it up, sort of thing.
And also the fact that the whole, well, at least like at the last part where my man's saying like he's trying to find peace and shit as he's flying through the galaxies and shit. That's the type of shit where it's like almost like a restless soul. And then at the end, granted, it finds peace. It's like, all right, bro, I can rest. But how my man's talking about how you gonna come back as a drop of rain, bro. That shit, that's how that shit be getting all emotional and shit, because you're like thinking like, damn, you might come back as a leaf in the wind, you know, as a leaf meant to fall off a tree and just float in the wind on some spiritual shit. But it's like, if you believe in those type like energies and different things like that, and spirits and the soul and being transferred and never destroyed type shit, even though the physical may fall, bro. If you transition, I would hope that you'd want to transition into a more beautiful horizon, opposed to, you know what I mean, some just ongoing spiral of despair. You don't feel any peace. You just constantly going through having like your experiences every time you travel and end in a new experience or end in a new form. You're just tripping, bro. That'd be unfortunate. Granted, you believe in that, you know.
Oh, I hear you.
Dope
It's
idea.
just
It's a fucking
it's such a
that
calming
concept.
idea
Yeah,
too.
yeah. That whole concept of how the Highwaymen, like which one you like for people, you can go and check out the song, bro. Like Trent, you might know like the name of the group or whatever. Like
The
as far as
Highwaymen.
it's just oh, that's what they were called.
Yeah, the Highwaymen.
Okay, straight up, straight up.
Name of the song, name of the band. It's kind of handy that way.
I mean, fuck, that's what it is. That's probably obviously like we've kind of been talking about this for a little bit. That's probably gonna be this episode. What the theme of this episode is, bro. Like the straight up, like on some just
One of my
type of
grandfather's favorite songs.
it's what it is, because it makes you think on some real shit where you're like, they were like obviously a little bit less civilized times, quote unquote.
Mhm.
People were out here just getting how they live, running up on stagecoaches, firing off, shooting dudes off their horses, and then jumping on the horse and riding it into the next town or whatever. Shit like that was real. Like the horse knew its owner, obviously, but once you shot him off and you jumped on it and started riding it, now the horse is just tripping. Somehow it just adapts to you. It's just like, but you think about these things, Trent, and then you're like, damn, it's super interesting, because it's like, though it's as simple as saying, no, it was just violent horse riding violence, but it's like the concept and the thought and like how you might applaud it, and how Buddy's waiting in the bushes and he does that and accumulates 28 bags of gold or whatever the case is, and fuck arounds and buys his own, I don't know whatever different type of like grand housing they had back then. I don't know if it's a manor or whatever you'd call it.
Probably something
You know
like that.
I mean? So if you're doing it back in times where there's barons and kings and shit, you taking you buying land and castles and shit. Shit's wild, bro. Because it's almost like the same type of shit happens now. It's just Buddy's obviously not on the Highwayman's not on a horse. The young tech tycoon who starts off with a small app and it grows into $1 billion empire or whatever, right? Like that's technically like a Highwayman.
I mean, if you want to look at it that way, but
or for example, like a Master P. If you're familiar with who Master P is from No Limit,
oh yeah,
a young man doing his thing, whether it's real life, getting his education, whether it's doing his thing in the streets. I don't know his business. I'm just saying. Then he eventually gets to the point of he plays in the NBA for a little bit. He is, regardless of the length of it, he's producing a superstar son. He's doing this, that. He's doing this, that. He's growing. He's got. He's the only one to accomplish a record label, major label deal where he gets 85% of it, and the record label gets 15. And I'm just saying, like he was doing some next level shit, unheard of shit at the time. And then you're thinking to yourself, like the way how he's doing it. I'm saying, not that no one's ever gotten raises or
no, I get what you
just
mean.
the way how he's doing it, and it's just like it makes you think like there are some of those people among us. Not saying it like they're some type of superhero, but I'm saying it in a sense of just free, rebellious, I'm doing what I can in this world type people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you have any examples of, or even if you yourself feel like you adapted that motherfucking moniker or whatever.
Oh, I don't know about that. Not at this point in the game right now, but I'm just out here, man. I'm just me. That's all I can claim to be.
Yeah.
That's it. The only thing, anything close to that is actually I'm just looking wearing this guy's shirt. I'm a G and an outlaw, and I hang out with G's and outlaws. That's how it works.
Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. That's how it works for real. Yo, what are you thinking though, Trent? Where do you have anything that on your mind or anything that like sparked your interest of recent that you might want to talk about or
Honestly, man, not right now. I'm just out here just fucking living to the next day at this point. Oh, like one step at a time. Like like the Highwaymen was all I really wanted to talk about because I was as soon as you sent me that cover version, I'd never heard that version before of it. I was like, okay, here we go. This is how we're starting the day off.
that's what it turns into though, right? Because it's like
Exactly.
certain adaptations, like the when they're paying homage or whatever, it's like this is pretty dope. Like this is pretty even like the High Woman or whatever, right?
Exactly.
It's a different approach when you it's a different approach, man. And I appreciate it's like certain songs and certain like a few episodes back when we talked about the sea shanties and things like
Mm-hmm.
certain things that invoke emotion or invoke something real within you, allow that shit to for I guess for the people listening, allow that shit to like brew and allow that shit to resonate within you and just take it in for whether it's art or whether it's whatever, like allow that shit to just resonate. Because once you like rush on to the next moment, like that piece, like listening to music and shit, like allowing it to put you into a certain mental zone and just like almost like a freeing zone, like where you stop time for a second.
Vibe.
It's fucking dope, man. Opposed to listening to a song and being like, yeah, it's cool. You know what I mean? He could have done this better. He could have done that better. It's like it's not about that, bro. Like it's allow yourself to embrace moments, and even like if it's just on your day to day. Yes, you may have something planned for tomorrow. Yo, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Blah blah blah. When I get to work, I gotta talk to such and such. But at the same time, be in the moment today because like and allow yourself because it's like live for today. Like don't be out here too far in the future. Like almost on some Highwayman type shit. Like
I'll send you that song afterwards. That song, "Live for Today." It's a great song.
straight up. I'll fuck around with blaze some herbs and vibe out to it. But yeah,
Definitely
man.
a song for that.
But I'm just saying because it's like the beauty of that, in my opinion, just being like, yo, man, I'm just living for today. You know what I mean? Yes, you want to be like, yeah, man, I got big moves in the making, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, it's like you being so focused on the future, you're not even understanding that the right now is what's important
Mm-hmm.
for your mental health, physical health. You trying to be in the future too much, in my opinion, that type of shit can bring in anxieties and different types of shit like that, where you don't necessarily need that stress as you're approaching, like as you're okay. If you have like something like where it's like, oh, it's the 10th, and you're like on the 17th, I'm gonna sign a deal for X, Y, and Z. Okay, will you just take your time and live each day and be as healthy as you can each day and get as enough rest as you can, and God willing, hopefully you get to wake up that next morning and you don't get perish in your sleep. And when the 17th comes, you sign your deal. But having it where you're just like stressing and anticipating and yo man, I hope they don't take that shit back and blah 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 and I hope this deal doesn't fall through. You doing all that type of shit opposed to just still enjoying your time, going out with your lady, having a good time each day or whatever the case is. Do that shit, bro. Be in the moment, be in the now, on some Highwayman type shit. Whether it's you robbing a stagecoach or you enjoying the fucking riches with your lady, like be in the now, yo. I don't know. I don't know. Like that's dope though. If that's all, try to holler at the people, bro. Let them know a few things and let them know some of the other like the Ultra Fly Talk and different episodes that you've been working on or that you just posted. Let them know.
Oh shit, yeah, they're all up there on my account, Uplift Ultra, and then on Create Fly on his account. We've got yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I did a podcast last week with another guy for Uplift Ultra, but yeah, everything's up there.
Yeah,
Links will be in the description of this
yeah,
one for sure. And yeah, check out this motherfucker's music. It's amazing.
hey, bro, we out here. It's more, I genuinely appreciate that, man. Like I'm only getting better, and don't get me wrong. Somebody might listen to some stuff and be like, "Yo, man, this stuff sounds better." Hey, man, I'm just getting better. I'm just all I can say is I'm getting better. You know what I mean?
That's
If
it. That's
you're
all we
listening
can
to
do.
something, if you're listening to something from 2015, and then you're saying, "Oh, yo, you've improved so much," I appreciate that because that's what I'm trying to do. Just keep improving. Trent, and some new stuff's coming soon, hopefully before the end of this month. But it's like going through my little shake up, like my little mashup on the highway and shit. even though like I still finessed and I say shake up because somebody might listen and be like, oh, this guy's acting up, nah. What you have to understand is when even though I'm going at slow speeds and hitting the side of the road,
Still sketchy.
I'm hitting the side of the road hard enough that I can flip my car over because I'm feeling the force that I'm hitting the side of the road. So I'm saying and the reason why, because I'm feeling myself like damn near kind of tip like the car is like making me like, as you're watching this, if you can see me, like I'm rocking like that because as I'm smashing into the thing each time, it's like as if it wants to turn a bit more, and to the point where I'm like, bro, even though there's not like, if I'll roll over this bitch and just go down hella trees and shit, if I do that, that would be fucked up. Like that's why I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah. And there's other people smashing like behind me, but they're not like literally right on me to the point where they're gonna hit me too. But they're so I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna stop, and I don't know if I stop, if they're gonna keep going and mash into the back of me. So like it was just some bullshit. But it just made me realize, like, yo, man, don't always gotta be driving if you don't gotta be driving.
Pretty much.
If there's an alternate. Because I technically, yeah, I'm saying I gotta go to work, but it's like, and I didn't even tell nobody at work or nothing because I was like, it doesn't matter because I got through it safely. But it's like at the same time, I was like, bro, that's some bullshit. In the sense of like, it's not going. That's another thing I'm trying to say quickly before we get out of here is, with me personally, bro, I got a timeline, and God willing, bro, that timeline's gonna hit. As far as not saying I'm focusing on the future on some high shit. I'm saying like I'm working every day to get to a point, and granted, I get to a point each day. I'm out that bitch in a certain timeline, in a certain time. Like, and I'm not saying it because I'm not trying to announce shit and it doesn't fall through. But I'm just saying that's what my intentions are. Because, bro, the things we do to get to like where we have to get to is what molds us and our character. But at the same time, some other shit can try to alter us and deter us off that path, and we can't let it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, like, I don't want to get comfortable and let something alter me off the path I genuinely believe I'm supposed to be on. And I feel, because certain moments allow me to know it's real. So that's why I'm just thinking to myself, okay, in a certain timeline, I'm taking my time and getting out of the quote unquote workforce. And it's all happening slowly but surely. I have to keep discipline. But Trent, hey, bro, we out this thing, bro. We tripping. That was dope.
Was.
I appreciate the conversation.
Always.
To the people listening, it's all peace and love. Oh shit.